Next 10 minutes, I'm going to explain to you why college is useless in the Big 25 and why you need to go chase a high income skill. If you plan to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant, anything that requires a degree, get off this video. But if you're in the middle ground where you don't really know what you want to do with your life, but you know you want to be successful, this is exactly the video you need to watch. Now that it's 2025, we are getting to a point where university and college is becoming less and less useful and less of an ROI than people might think it actually is, especially the older generations. You're starting to see people that are really making it in life, and I say making it as in making like $1 million a year and having that successful family life, the American dream. People are starting to really make it in life without the university and the college degrees, where 50, 60 years ago, that wasn't really the case. It's almost a requirement to actually see that success that everyone craves. Now, I'm never going to tell someone what to do because, frankly, do what you want with your life. But if you're the type of person where you don't really know what to do, you don't really know if you should go to university or college, you don't know if that's the route for you, I would highly suggest weighing your options. The reason I say this is because you can go out there and learn a high income skill in 2025 and you can go make multiple six figures a year just doing one thing. And oftentimes it's remote and you work for yourself. Now, we'll get into what that actually looks like, but I need to run through a couple things before I do. Some people highly doubt the almost security of this type of route, going down the route where you don't spend $50,000 to $100,000 on an education, formal education. Instead, you go and learn a high income skill. Now, although it may seem like the less secure option, I truly believe that this is a lot more secure long term, even if you want to go into the corporate job space. Now, let's walk through a hypothetical to kind of demonstrate why it's a little bit less risky to do the high income route. Let's say there's one kid, right, and he has two paths in front of him. He has the path where he can go to university or college and he can spend $50,000 in 4 years of his life on a degree. Or you can go down the route of learning a high income skill and staying in that high income skill for 4 years and taking on no debt whatsoever, assuming that you're living at home during all of this. Let's say first kid goes and gets his degree in business. He takes a likings to sales, right? And now he has 4 years behind him and a degree, which might seem like a good thing to a bunch of the older generations, but who's the business owner actually going to take? The kid that's been in sales for 4 years, or the kid that went down the route of university and just has a paper that says he did something for 4 years? Probably the kid that did sales for 4 years. Same thing goes for HR, same thing goes for marketing. It all ties back to just knowing that the prospect you're hiring can do the skill. Who do you think they're going to hire? The kid that has 4 years and a paper that says he can do the skill, or the kid that's been doing it for 4 years and have proven results and clients and stuff like that? Probably the kid that's been doing it. Now, I truly don't think that this route is built for everyone, right? Obviously, if you want to do it, do it. But it's going to take a lot of hard work, right? You're behind the eight ball, essentially. You're fighting with these older generations for a spot. You don't have your paper that says you did something for 4 years or whatever, but that's beside the point. You don't have the credentials that people technically want, right? But if you find the right businesses, or you start your own business, you're going to be stable, right? I'm telling you, the right businesses, the businesses that you want to land a job in, don't give a shit if you have a university degree. They just care that you can do the job. Like I said, not everybody's built for this because it will take 14-hour days of just pure work. It will take years of just sitting there and grinding on your own, because if you don't go the formal education route, unfortunately, you're still going to have to get educated. Obviously, just not through formal means. Not going to university doesn't mean that you're not going to educate yourself. In fact, I personally believe that not going to university just means that you're educating yourself even more, but a little bit deeper into a certain subject, right? Because when you do go to university, you kind of get a broad idea of each thing. You get your microeconomics, you get your accounting, business in a global context, and you kind of skim the surface on each thing. But if you want to learn how to do Facebook ads really well, and you spend 10 hours a day on Facebook ads for 4 years, you're going to be a master in Facebook ads, and you can probably charge someone $10,000 monthly to run their Facebook ads, or you can partner with businesses and charge a $10,000 monthly retainer. Because it's almost as simple as it sounds, but it's just the fact that it's not formal that people get tripped up on. Now, doctors, lawyers, these two jobs, they require that piece of paper, right? Because actual things are at stake. You don't want a self-taught dude operating on your mom when she goes into whatever cardiac arrest. That's just not what you want. What you want is a guy that's proven he's been to medical school for 8+ years, right? Because at the end of the day, people that don't go down the formal education route are going to be uneducated, right? They're going to say that they want to put in the work, and then they're going to work for like an hour a day, and they're not going to get the results that they want. They are not qualified, right? It's almost like a winners are going to win mentality. If you're going to go out there and you're going to put in the work, do not go to university. Just don't do it. Save yourself the time, save yourself the money. If you're going to win in the long run, don't delay it by 4 years. You're just putting that delay on yourself for society's expectations. It's not really worth it. Now, if you're struggling with making this decision, whether you should go to university, go to college, or just go down the informal route, you got to think to yourself, like, what is stopping me from doing either, right? Is it the fear of going down the 9 to 5 route, or is it the fear of not being successful with the high income skill part, right? There's two things you need to think of. You need to dial it down to one variable. If you care about what other people think, you need to erase that right now and break it down into almost like a math problem. That's what I do. You got to think to yourself, what is the outcome, right? Break everything down into an outcome. Let's say you go to university or college. Like, how happy would you be if you landed that 9 to 5 that you just spent 4 years building up to? Versus going down the informal route and starting your own business, or working for yourself in that sense. Like, which one of those outcomes do you see fit in your life? Now, me personally, I could not stand the idea of working a 9 to 5, right? It was almost like the outcome was all bad. Whereas obviously there's risk involved with the entrepreneurial route, but there's a chance at success and there's a chance at living my dream life. Right? So it's almost like a 0 to 1. You either get the chance or you just live a life that you hate. And personally, I'm taking the chance all day long. And if you want to negate risk even more, get your shit together before you even have the idea of going off to university. People take gap years, use that gap year to explore your entrepreneurial endeavors, right? Go all in on something for 6 months, work 12 to 16 hours a day, stay up late, obsess over it. And if you're still not even an inch into the journey and you don't think that you could make it work even a year down the line, once that gap year is up, then go off to university or college, bro, because it's just not something that you're meant for, right? But if you spend those 6 months, which I guarantee you will see some results, but if you spend those 6 months grinding it out, you will start to realize how much money there is to be made, how much success there is to be passed around, and how beneficial a focused mind on a focused task can be. Especially in only as short as a 6 month time horizon, your life can change. It can be unbelievable, the results that you'll get. In terms of the high ticket skills, you guys need to think about this logistically. Like, what is your skill set? And then branch off from there. You have high ticket sales, which is what I do personally. You have drop shipping, you have trading, you have consulting, all these high income skills. You need to learn the components of business to start off, right? You have sales, you have marketing, you have HR, you have finance, you have IT. All these things are required in a business. Not a single business runs without sales, and a single business runs without marketing, right? So if you have any interest in those two things, go all in on it, right? That's a high income skill right there. There's multiple ways to make money with sales, multiple ways to make money with marketing, right? There's people doing it all over the world. And the demand just goes up because every single business actually requires these skills. So long term, you have a safety net if you want to go into it. Obviously, I'm going to advocate for sales because that's what I'm in and I've seen the most success in. But if you are really, really good with sitting behind a computer and working on products all day, then maybe you're a drop shipper. Maybe you are really good at e-commerce, that type of thing. It's just food for thought. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to hit my DMs. I'm willing to help you because I recently just made the decision. I'm not going to go into depth, but obviously I'm doing sales. So I guess that tells you everything you need to know.